Hello and welcome to We Random, episode 59. We're recording this Thanksgiving week on November the 23rd. For those who are new around here, We Random, we throw some stuff up on that crazy wheel that is over that way. I always point the wrong direction. We spin it around, we talk about stuff, and B will give you a little bit more info. But before that, B, do you know what the drummer calls his twin daughters? And a 1 and a 2. That was the wrong drop. That's the one we wanted. We'll be back right after this.
Man.
Almost Qualified Productions. Your dose of semi-coherent babbling.
Welcome in, everybody, to episode 59 of We Random. This episode is like the NFL. I am your backup quarterback, Tyler Huntley. That is Tim Boyle. We are We Random. No, I'm just kidding. I'm Landmark. That's skonzii. This is We Random. Welcome into the podcast. We started with some mistakes, but this turns out better than my fantasy matchup did with Daniel Jones. But y'all don't want to hear about that either.
No.
So what we're going to do today is, this is our podcast. We've got our nice wheel of doom over there. We've got some carefully selected topics. We're going to spin that wheel. We're going to get mad online. We're going to make our friends laugh. We're going to make our friends angry. We might even get angry. And then at the end, we're going to bring it all back together. And we're going to do a very special Thanksgiving week random rankings.
Nice.
What do you got to say about that, skonzii? How you feeling?
You know, I'm feeling good. I haven't told anybody yet, but I'm going to take a stream break for the rest of this week. And clearly, by the way this podcast started, I need a fucking break. I think that's the answer.
All right, well, let's get this wheel spinning. Let's get this podcast done. And then everybody go drink a beer. Well, maybe not, but,
Maybe
anyway.
2 or 3. I'm spinning the wheel.
Let's go.
We are going to start off with Christmas too early.
So, skonzii has complained that Landmark... No, I'm kidding. All right.
No, you're not
Christmas-
kidding. I absolutely have.
A Christmas light display in West Chase, Florida is getting national attention for going up too early. The Moffa family says they could face up to $1,000 in fines from their local homeowners association if they don't take their decorations down. Now, here's the background of the story. After missing out on a professional decorator's help last year, the family took the first available date of November 6th for decoration assistance this year. On November 8th, after a neighbor complained, it didn't take 6 neighbors like Whitefish Bay. It only took
6
one here.
people.
The West Chase Community Association said the lights were in violation of the HOA and added that the holiday decorations are not allowed until Thanksgiving Day. If the violation isn't corrected, the notice says that the family may be fined $100 a day, up to $1,000. Before this fine can be imposed, the association must hold a vote, which they have yet to do. So I thought that this was interesting because I have a personal story. So a couple weeks ago, it was supposed to snow here in Wisconsin. So my wife and I and a friend who actually listens to the show. Hello, friend. I'm not going to put your name out here, but you know who you are. You cackle when I say things that are funny. But we all did all of my yard work and got the yard ready. And then we were like, you know what? We're going to put up these new holiday decorations that we have because we already got the yard done. Put them up and they're beautiful and I love them and they're wonderful. And then, it was November 13th. So was it a little early? Sure. Do I enjoy and does it make my heart feel happy? Yes. So that's why this story resonated with me. So I get why this is happening. We don't have a homeowners association in my neighborhood, thankfully, because I'm not the type of person who wants to read some legalese about, well, you can only hang the pride flag on Tuesdays and you have to have your blue line flag on Thursdays and all of this, right? If I want to put out my decorations and I'm not hurting anybody, let me do it. What are your thoughts on this, Skonzii?
It's too goddamn early. No, so I've been giving B a lot of grief over the last few weeks because he started listening to Christmas music, and it's really all in fun because I don't care. Listen to what you want to listen to. Decorate when you want to decorate. I don't give a shit. I will say that when I was house hunting earlier this year, I absolutely was paying attention to whether or not there was a homeowners association in the place that I was looking because I don't want to have to deal with that garbage. So I'm going to start with, is it too early? For me, yes. Like for decorations, I don't care. Decorate whenever you want. For me, I'm not listening to Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. It's just my thing. And when it crosses over to Thanksgiving or the day after Thanksgiving, that's all that I listen to. It's pretty much all I watch on TV is Christmas movies, Christmas whatever. Like that, I engross into all of that. But I have my own, it's after Thanksgiving. If somebody else wants to listen to Christmas music, I don't care. Have at it. Right? It's great music. Enjoy it. But the fact that they're being fined because they put up Christmas decorations is dumb as shit. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than it's just dumb as shit.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about this is there's a very easy solution. Turn the power off until Thanksgiving, right? Like,
or how about the fucking neighbor just doesn't look at their house when it's lit up? I mean,
right.
Just mind your own goddamn business, people.
I mean, that's the society we live in, though, right? Like, people don't mind their business. It's the same people who walk up to your door. Oh, I don't like that flag that you have. I don't like that you allow your dog to poop in your yard and you don't pick it up right away. Like, people be nosy.
You know what? Mind your own goddamn business. What I do in my place is my business. Now, if it's infringing on you, like if I have so much dog shit in the back of my yard that it's smelling up your place, okay, maybe you can say something at that point. I get that. But, the first time somebody comes over and talks about the fact that I got a pride flag out front, or if somebody wants to say something about me smoking a cigar in my backyard, we gonna have words. We're going to have at least words. We may have hands too. We'll see what happens.
Well, and it made me feel really good because when I got together with Skonzii this weekend, he brought me back home. I saw that my neighbor across the street put their decorations now too.
Oh yeah, like almost all the houses around me have decorations right now. Like I'm fine. I don't care. I love Christmas decorations.
All right. Well, we've waited on that. What do you say we move to our next topic?
It's already spinning, baby.
Spinners, riding spinnings.
Oh man, now we're going from getting me upset to now getting me angry. What's this school lawsuit all about, B?
Okay, well, now we've gone from one person being angry to two sets of parents who are suing the Kettle Moraine School District over a policy that allows minor students to change their name and gender pronouns at school without parental consent. The parents of a 12-year-old girl say they withdrew their daughter from the district to protect her mental health and preserve their parental role. They say the school district violated their rights as parents by using a male name and male pronoun to address their daughter at school without their consent and against their objections. The attorneys for this family say that the United States and state constitutions recognize the, quote, inherent right of parents to direct the upbringing and education of children under their control as the parents are the primary decision maker in regards to the children. Now, I have thoughts on this, but I also know that you have thoughts on this. So I'm going to give you the first opportunity to get mad online. Are you going to take my opportunity?
No,
Skonzii?
This doesn't make me angry at all. First of all, I don't like the term control. Like, this child under your control. It just sounds very, very negative to me. But so I would love to say this is a black and white issue and these parents are assholes and just let the kids do what they want. But I get it. Like these are your children and it's your role, your responsibility as their parent to raise that child. So I get that. And they have to be part of that conversation. That said, clearly, we know that there's a situation where parents aren't always accepting of where their children are and how their children are and how they feel. But I mean, you can look simply at the fact that this child wants to be referred to by a male name, wants to be referred to by masculine male pronouns. So clearly this, you can assume, they didn't get into details, which I don't think we need to, based on this kid being, a kid. This child presumably feels like they're transgender and they are a boy. That we can presume that that's how they feel. And yet in this article, it completely talks about the fact that they want what's best for their daughter. They want control over their daughter. So clearly this isn't a situation where this child feels that they can have an opinion, that this child feels that their body and how they feel is under their control. Their parents are commanding them as to how they have to feel, what they need to feel, who they are, how they need to be. And that's where the big problem is. Like if it was as simple as children can have this conversation with open-minded parents who discuss that, and then they have a conversation with the school and say, yes, my child now wants to be referred to as this male name and with these male pronouns, great. But we all know that doesn't happen. And this is proof of that. I mean, if I'm just going to share a real quick story. I had a situation when I was in high school. It was nothing bad. I had surgery. I got taken out of gym class because I couldn't run around because I had surgery on my leg, and they put me in study hall. And the phy ed teacher kept marking me absent. And so it got to the state, and the state marked me as a habitual truant and sent a letter home. So how did my parents handle this? Did they sue the school for being idiots? Did they go to the local news and say, hey, we're going to sue the school? Hey, the school are idiots? No. The old man went down to the school. He yelled and screamed at the principal for about half an hour, so bad that everybody in the whole school could hear it. And then he left, and I was taken off that list, and we didn't have an issue anymore, right? Now, I'm not saying these parents need to go to school and yell and scream, but that's how this should be handled. You go to the school, say, help me understand what the hell is going on. Why are we doing this? What is the purpose, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But no, and maybe they did that. They didn't mention it, but how did this get to the point of a lawsuit? And this just reeks to me of people trying to control people and trying to control a narrative and just trying to, throw a big stink. Because I will almost guarantee these are the same people that fly the anti-CRT flag in their fucking front yard, which isn't actually a thing, but if there was, I think these fuckers probably fly it.
Like, the thing about this that is challenging to me is that this individual is 12 years old. We can guess, again, we're speculating, so we don't have the full truths here, but we can speculate that if this individual is of sound mind, they are at a point where they can consciously make this decision. This isn't a situation where sometimes, like, little kids, like 3, 4, 5-year-olds, they say things and they might not necessarily understand the back and forth of it, right? Where, like, they'll say, oh, little Susie is my boyfriend, when they've, like, referred to another girl as their boyfriend, right? Like, they may not understand the social context of all of these things. This 12-year-old likely understands the social context. Yet, these parents are like, we want to protect the mental health of our child. What? I want to say something right now, but I'm going to do the same thing that I did last week when I didn't insult Congress. But what we're going to do is we're going to say they are not protecting the mental health of their child, because what they're doing is they are saying, we don't give a fuck about your mental health. Because if you want to be referred to as a male and you want to use male pronouns, we're going to call you little Angelina or whatever the fuck your name is because you're a girl. And do you know what they're doing? They are causing more mental health issues for this child. They are making things worse for this child. And it's all in the name of, this is what I get to do and what I want to do because I'm your parent.
Yeah, like I completely, yeah, I 100% agree with wanting to protect the mental health of your child. And, God bless them for doing that. Like, you want to do that. But I don't think that's what they're actually doing. And I don't think that, like, and I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but if these individuals are the types of individuals that they come off as, I think that they like to use, well, I think everybody likes to use buzzwords, and certain individuals like to twist buzzwords, especially things they don't really truly understand. And I feel like this is one of those situations, right? I think that there's a lot of parents, and whether these people are that way or not, I don't know. I'm assuming so, but we don't know. Where they could look at somebody who's trans and think, oh, you have mental health issues if you think you're a boy when you're actually a girl, right? Maybe that's what they're referring to, right?
Right. Well,
And not the fact that, trans people commit suicide at some ungodly rate and we want to protect our child to make sure that doesn't happen. No. That's not the mental health we want to fix. We want to fix the mental health where you think you're a boy. That's the gist I get from this.
Where my brain goes is, what harm is it to sit down with your child and try to have a conversation with them and say, this is how you feel, whatever, and to roll with it? What harm is there in that? Even if you don't believe it, if you think it's a fad, if you think it's going away, what is harmful about saying, okay, if you want us to refer to you as John and say that you're a he, like, we can do that? Because if it is a fad, if that's what you're saying, parents, then you'll do it, and then they'll be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is that it's something they don't believe in. Right. It's the same thing when the little Christian girl says, hey, mom and dad, I want to go to a mosque and I want to understand that religion more. And they say, no, you're not going to fucking do that. That's stupid. We're not going to let that happen because you're going to get blah, 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 blah. Right. It has nothing at all to do with I'm trying to protect you. It has to do with I'm not okay with that. I don't agree with that. That goes against my sensibilities and what I believe in. And what I like and what I want for people, and so I'm not going to let you do that. And then I think that's the problem we're probably running into.
It goes back to what we've talked about several times on this podcast: indoctrination, right? Like, you as my child, and like my
that word control again.
Like back in the day, and again, I'm dating myself, but one of the things that we often would hear from parents is like, I want my child to have opportunities that I didn't have and be better and smarter and stronger than me. But it feels like very much today, it's a lot of, you will believe exactly what I believe and you'll go to the same church that I went to and you'll do the same things that I did, or we're kicking you out of the family, right? And that's not everybody, but it happens enough that it's frustrating to me.
Well, I'll beat the old drum that, so much of the world is about I'm right and you're wrong. So how much of that plays into something like that? And we're making a lot of assumptions, right? I don't know these people. I don't know what they're all about, but this is definitely an ugly, ugly look. And Wiggum, I agree with your point. A lot of problems with these parents. What the school did, is it wrong? Is it not wrong? I can understand from a parent's point of view why you would want control. I think there should absolutely be a conversation there. I think whether it's, and I don't know how the inner workings of schools work, but whether it goes up to the school board or something like that, and I think that kind of makes sense. I think the thing that you risk running into is there's a lot of people being alienated. And personally, my point of view, and this is certainly a biased point of view, I care a whole lot more about the mental health of that child who may be forced to confine into, something that they don't believe fits them than I'm concerned about their parents being rubbed the wrong way. Like that's just my point of view. But yeah, this is like, messy situation.
My brain's starting to go into like policy and procedure and like how you could set this up, and that's not stuff we have time for on this podcast. So I feel like we should just.
That also sounds too much like work, so I'm spinning the wheel.
Well, I mean, it's kind of what we both do in some ways, right?
I guess. So let's talk about Corbin Burnes, the worst Cy Young Award winner in the history of the Cy Young Award ever in baseball.
The worst. So Corbin Burnes finished the breakout 2021 season by taking home the NL Cy Young Award, finishing ahead of finalists Zach Wheeler and Max Scherzer. Burnes beat out Wheeler for the award, earning 151 points to Wheeler's 141. Each pitcher earned 12 first-place votes, while Burnes had 14 second-place votes to Wheeler's 9. So, Corbin Burnes, pitcher... censoring myself. I was going to be like, I'm going to censor. Nope, I'm not. But he finished with an MLB low 2.43 ERA, a 0.94 whip, and 234 strikeouts in womp, 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 167 innings pitched across 28 games. So, even though he set a major league record by beginning the season with 58 strikeouts without a walk and tied a record by striking out 10 straight batters, people said that's just not enough because you haven't pitched enough innings. So what do you think about the old men yelling at clouds over there, Christopher?
I think there's a whole lot of sour grapes, and we kind of had this conversation. I don't remember who that jackal was. That I think you sent me a tweet or I saw it somewhere, and this isn't good enough, and he threw this many innings less than this guy, and blah 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 blah. Who is the better pitcher? Corbin Burnes was. End of story. Let's fucking move on. I mean, I don't give a shit how many innings you pitch. There's been relievers. There's been closers who have won this fucking Cy Young before. Did anybody bitch and scream that, oh, they only threw 48 innings, so they're not as good as the guy who threw 300 innings? Get out of here. Get bent. I got nothing for this guy. He deserved it. He had an amazing season. He dealt with a bunch of shit. The fact that he won any games with that offense is amazing. I mean, that alone, if you finish with 2 wins, you should have won the Cy Young.
Yeah, I'm gonna channel professional podcaster Christopher Harris here. He always talks about in fantasy football. Well, if you're playing in the points per target league, then this is the guy that you want to pick up. If you actually want to win a football game, you shouldn't pick him up. And that's what's going on here. If you want to have someone who earns you wins in the, for per inning pitched thing, maybe you should go with somebody else. If you actually want the guy who's going to win you baseball games, you want Corbin Burnes.
Yeah, I think some of this is still the old time thinking, right? Like we're looking at all these older metrics and stuff that I don't know that it really matters all that much. And I'm biased, of course. I wanted Burnes to win, but I just think there's a lot of garbage thought out there, a lot of garbage numbers that people look at. I mean, the guy earned it. He deserves it as much as anybody else does. If people want to argue the opposite, fine, go and do it. Do it on Twitter somewhere, because I'm not following you anyway, and I don't have to read it.
That's fair. And if we want to bring in some more metrics, Burnes led the majors in strikeouts per 9 innings at 12.6, ranked third in walks per 9 at 1.83, and was first in homers allowed at 0.38 per 9 innings. So again, across the board, all of his either advanced metrics or his standard metrics were at or near the top of the pitcher. So he definitely earned it, even if he didn't pitch 200, 250, however many innings. But the thing that people are forgetting is we're coming off of, what was that, like a 60-game season in 2020? So a lot of these pitchers were ramping back up. So yeah, like the old dudes like, Scherzer and, all these other dudes who've been in the league since like 1994, like they're like, I'm going to pitch 250 innings. Because back in my day, we used to pitch on 2 days rest, and then we would go work at the Shopco,
Well, here's the thing is back when Randy Johnson was pitching, he used to throw like 330 innings a season. And I mean, Cy Young, that fucking guy threw like 900 innings a season. So why are we giving the Cy Young to anybody? I mean, if you don't hit 500 innings a season, I don't think you qualify for the Cy Young. Let's just get rid of all of them. No, you mean we're adjusting things based on the times? Oh, imagine that. Okay, that's all I got to say.
So, yeah, I mean, at least someone's adjusting for the times, because we definitely don't see that in a lot of other places these days. Anyway, congratulations, Corbin. We are now going to spin that wheel.
Yeah, I should have put Corbin back up on the thing over there. But now let's talk more baseball. This one, you know what? I think there's some interesting conversation to be had about this year's potential Baseball Hall of Fame.
See, this one I was kind of like, meh, on, so maybe you'll sell me. So, the 2022 Baseball Writers Association Hall of Fame ballot class was released this week. One of the popular storylines is 2022 being the last hurrah for Curt Schilling, Barry Bonds, and Roger Clemens on the ballot, as this is their 10th and final year. Another storyline that is developing is that more of our fun vitamins or PED guys are entering the chat, with Alex Rodriguez and David Ortiz now being eligible for Hall of Fame consideration. So, Skonzii, what are some of the interesting storylines that you would like to bring to the forefront?
So wait, did Big Papi get popped for PEDs?
I mean, he was always kind of like suspected of being part of that.
Okay, but he didn't actually get popped with it.
I don't know. Let's Google it. I will Google it while you talk.
All right. Because they wrap him, they rope him in with A-Rod. He was reportedly on a list of players who tested positive, but that was an anonymous survey. Okay, he never actually got popped. All right. All 5 should be in the Hall of Fame, Wiggum says. You know, I think it's an interesting, there's a lot of interesting things here, right? So there's the steroid angle, of course, right? We know that A-Rod got busted. There's pretty much everybody is on board with assuming or believing that Bonds and Clemens were on it, because they their names came up in some of that shit. Curt Schilling isn't really a steroid thing. He's just an asshole. And he basically told the writers not to vote him in. So who knows what's going to happen there. I almost think they might vote him in just to spite him. And that's probably what he wants, to be honest. So I think those are interesting conversations to have. Wiggum says they all belong in the Hall of Fame. Bonds did not get popped for it, but his head grew 7 sizes in his career. I mean, give me a break. That guy is so juiced, it's coming out his ears. But I think you have to look at things, right? Like, that was the time. Those are the things that were happening back then. And who knows how many people may have gotten into the Hall of Fame already that were juicing. I think Jeff Bagwell's a Hall of Famer, isn't he? I think he might be. I swear that guy's fucking juiced out his eyeballs. So, like, I think there's already a precedent that people who were on steroids most likely are in the Hall of Fame. And I think it's, you know, if you look at the numbers of people back then, right? You look at the numbers that McGwire put up and that Bonds put up, and you compare that with what people put up in the 1910s. Like, you're looking at the leader of home runs in Major League Baseball had like 4 home runs compared to Bonds, who hit 4 in a game, right? Completely different eras. So I think you just account for that. I think that has to be part of it. Curt Schilling's an asshole. Barry Bonds was a fucking raging asshole. So was Roger Clemens. Interesting how the assholes, a lot of them seem to have that steroid thing. But Ty Cobb was an asshole too. And I think he was even a racist, but don't quote me on that one. And he's in the Hall of Fame. So, being an asshole doesn't get you excluded from the Hall of Fame.
Well, what bothers me about this is basically a popularity contest, because it's the Baseball Writers Association of America. Again, and I've been really good about not like saying mean things, and I was really about to say a mean thing again. But
yeah, my permission. Go for it.
It's a bunch of old people who are holding grudges, like, oh, was this person nice to me? Was this person not nice to me? How did they treat, like, it's a popularity contest, because it's like, oh, well, we're not going to vote you in because you were mean to us. And like, I don't have time for that. Like, that's why the Hall of Fame becomes the Hall of Very Good. That's how you get the fucking Brewers Wall of Fame, where, like, Junior Spivey's going to be on the Wall of Fame or whatever at some point. Well, Junior Spivey was really nice to me at some point. Fucking Derek Carr's going to put John Gruden on his Wall of Fame because John Gruden was really nice to him at some point. Like, I that's why I don't get caught up in this, because I don't feel like it's a robust review. I basically feel like it's like, oh, well, do I like Roger Clemens, or was Roger Clemens a dick to me?
No, Roger Clemens was a dick to everybody.
Right, but like, that's what I'm saying, is like, it's not about what you did. It's about it basically is corporate America is what it is.
Yeah, I think
it's like, who you know, how you rubbed the sheets, how you gave somebody the ZE money, all that.
Yeah, I'm a bit torn down the middle about the Hall of Fame. So, from a historical standpoint, that as a museum of baseball, I think it's amazing. I think it's awe-inspiring. I've been to the Hall of Fame. It was next level crazy, like one of the best moments of my life. I love that. I love the history of baseball. I saw a jersey that Babe Ruth wore, for God's sake. Like, these things are amazing. I love that aspect of it. And from that aspect of it, absolutely these guys belong in there. Like they put up some of the most ridiculous seasons you've ever seen in career numbers. I get that. Whether maybe you put an asterisk on all their shit, I don't care. But like, from a museum perspective, that makes sense. The other side of it is almost baseball royalty. Like, we are highlighting the best players. These are the people that we want to put up on the Mount Rushmore of baseball kind of thing. I don't believe that really exists in my mind. And the reason why is because I believe that this is the hall of not even very good. This is the hall of you were kind of good at one point. That's pretty much it. That's all it really turned into. There's a lot of players in the Hall of Fame, in my mind, that don't belong on that super high upper echelon, right? Like you've got your Babe Ruths and your Lou Gehrig's and you know, those guys, Mickey Mantles and whatever. But then you got, you know, guys who are like Ricky Weeks. Okay, that's a little bit of an extreme, but you got the people that just do not belong in the same echelon as those guys. So in my mind,
call it the Hall of Kissing Ass.
It's
Call
just
it that.
well, if that was the case, then a lot of the guys wouldn't be there. But I don't look at it as this is the pedestal for the people that we consider to be the best to ever play this game. I just don't see that because there's so many people that don't belong in that conversation. So because of that, from a historical museum type perspective, I think it makes sense that they're in there. But I also think that there should, you know, maybe you have to talk about the fact of what this era was, what the questions were, what, you know, what was happening. I mean, there's a lot of things that play in, like Matt Williams had a season where he probably would have broke the record for home runs in a season if MLB didn't go on strike. Like that's something that should be in there too. It probably isn't because they don't want to talk about a strike because God forbid we want to talk about that. That's part of history. It should be there, you know? It's like when I was in DC, I went to the Holocaust Museum. Gut-wrenching experience, right? There's so much horrible shit there. It's history. That's why it's there. So people can understand and learn about history. And I think from that perspective, these individuals should be in there in one capacity or another. It's just there's so much pomp and circumstance around it that it's like, oh, you made it. You're a Hall of Famer now. Like, it kind of makes me sick to my stomach that these people would be able to wear that on their, you know, their chest. But
yeah. But I mean, again, these are some of the best players in the game, whether they were good or bad or indifferent or cheating or not cheating. Like, it is what it is.
Well, and here's the thing. If Roger Clemens was, you know, doped up out of his mind, he was pitching against Barry Bonds, who, hey, guess what? He was doped up out of his mind, and so is everybody else, right? So I think you just take that into consideration, and everybody was juicing. So, okay, not everybody, but so many people were juicing. The fact that you're putting up those numbers is amazing. But then what I do is I think you take it that next step, and that's when you look at somebody like Pedro Martinez, who the guy weighed $125. There's no way he was juicing, and his numbers were even better than Roger Clemens. So I think that you look at that period and you say, yeah, Roger Clemens did a lot of great stuff. But then you say, well, look at what the fuck Pedro Martinez did, which is even better in that era where everybody was getting bombed, right? And then you just hold him up to an even higher, you know, put him on a higher pedestal, that kind of thing. I think that's the best way to handle it.
Fair enough.
I kind of hope that they don't get in. It's just me. Let Barry Bonds donate his cleats. We'll put those in the Hall of Fame. Don't put him in there. I'm spinning the wheel.
All right.
I'm kind of spinning it. It's getting glitchy on me. We got a pretty big random rankings this week, so I think we probably have to wrap it up after this one. What do you think?
Yeah, what do we got?
We got Streamlabs. This is the story that only I care about.
I was gonna say this is the one that you care about. I'm just looking through. Yeah, none of the other ones are. This of everything, I'm okay with this one.
Okay.
So, Streamlabs, an open source streaming software, is in hot water after being accused of plagiarizing content from other popular streaming software brands. Lightstream called out Streamlabs on Twitter for blatantly copying their entire website design and source code. Software company OBS tweeted that Streamlabs used their name in their SLOBS product without permission. OBS says that Streamlabs did ask them if they could use the OBS name, but OBS said no. So, basically, sounds like Streamlabs is, if they were in an academic institution, they'd be getting an F. What do you have to say about them, Skonzii?
The wee random dick of the week. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that kind of go into this. So, again, like I said, most people don't give a shit about this, but it became kind of a big story. Obviously, I do streaming stuff like we're doing right now. And so the main streaming software that people use is called OBS. I think it's Open Broadcast System or something. I'm making that up. I don't know what it is. But OBS is the software that people use. It was the first one really that was out there, and it's the one that a lot of people use. It's open source software, so if you're not familiar with that, open source means literally the source is available. People can access it. People can look at it. If you're a coder, you can examine it. You can say, hey, I found a bug. Here's how you can fix it, whatever the case may be. Streamlabs wanted to get into the business, and so they took Streamlabs OBS and kind of built their own frame around it, which is fine. OBS was fine with that. But then OBS said, well, we don't want you to call it Streamlabs OBS. Open Broadcaster Software. Thank you, Wiggs. OBS asked them not to use the name. And they said, guess what? We're going to do it anyway. So they used the name, they trademarked it, all that stuff. So now they are Streamlabs OBS. It has always been very confusing. When I started getting into this space, it was super confusing for me because I thought they were all the same thing. They're not the same thing at all. There's OBS and there's Streamlabs OBS. There's others, but Streamlabs just kind of took the name. So that just kind of was what it was for a lot of years. For the record, I use OBS. I did try Streamlabs initially because it's a whole lot easier. But it also kind of sucked. So what happened was there's a service called, do you have it in here? Lightspeed or Lighthouse, something like that. Lightstream. So Lightstream created a service that's meant, and I don't know a lot about it, I haven't looked into it, but it's meant to make streaming a lot easier for people on their console, on Xbox or PlayStation or whatever. So they created this software, it's out there. Well, Streamlabs created something very simple. They ripped it off, basically. They ripped it off and they wanted to make it their own. And they announced it in conjunction with Twitch, which is very interesting, and said, hey, look, this is our new product. So the interesting thing was there was a tweet that Lightstream put out, and it's basically said, hey, can I copy your homework? Sure, or just change some stuff around. The website was a mirror copy. Okay, it wasn't quite a mirror, but basically the entire web page was lifted and transferred over to Streamlabs site. Down to even the customer testimonials. Like it said, hey, like Lightstream said, Brian says Lightstream is the best thing ever. And then over on Streamlabs it says, Brian says this is the best thing. Like they copied it word for word. The images, the layouts, like it was insane. It was horrible. So that came out. And then after that came out, OBS came out and said, oh, by the way, we asked them not to use our name, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's been multiple other things that have come out. So basically Streamlabs got caught up in this huge thing where they're basically, and I don't think anybody should be super surprised because this is the feeling I got from the company from the very beginning, which is we're going to grab stuff, we're going to steal it, we're going to rebrand it, and we're going to push it out, and we're going to try to get people to jump into our system so we can make money off it. It's Facebook all over again. So this blew up. People got super upset about it. Big time streamers were out there saying, I'm going to drop out of this or looking for alternatives, all that kind of stuff. I don't know, like what is it going to end with? I don't know. This is a big company making a bunch of money. They've got a lot of sketchy shit that's happened even outside of what I've already mentioned. It was just this big controversy that hit this week, and I thought it was very interesting, probably mostly because I'm in the streaming space, kind of. I thought it was something worth touching base on because it's just another example of, big business doing big business bullshit. That's kind of what it is. Yeah, it could be the feed me of the week too. Yeah. I mean, this is a company who like automatically signs you up for a recurring. Like if you had a donation, like I've got a donation thing. I don't know where it's at anymore. There's probably a link out there somewhere. Like, so if you went and donated, say, hey, here's $5, Skonzii, thanks for doing your thing. And then they like sign you up for a recurring $5 every month subscription or some shit. I don't know. There's so many shady things. I'm just glad that a shady company is getting called out for being shady. That's the best thing, right? And hopefully it causes people to look at what they're doing and who they're supporting and, making some changes if it's something we're changing. By the way, I use Streamlabs. So if you're on Streamlabs now, switch to OBS and Streamlabs. It works great. And get yourself an old man Wiggum to fix some of the stuff on the back end. That's good too.
I mean, that's true. You can pay him in broccoli. I hear.
Oh dang, broccoli face. Inside joke. Anyway, I think it is time, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else.
Random rankings.
B, tell us what we're random ranking about.
So, I was thinking about it being Thanksgiving week. Normally, we skew to food, right? But I thought of you, Skonzii, and one of the things that you've talked a lot about is wanting to be more positive. And in that vein, today, we are going to randomly rank things to be thankful for. So, Shutterfly has put together a list of 100 things to be thankful for across 4 different areas. Things to be thankful for in life, things to be thankful for that are funny, things to be thankful for at Thanksgiving, and unique things to be thankful for. So, Skonzii and I will figure out how we want to draft this. I was thinking we would just draft 3 from each bucket. I don't know if we want to bounce back and forth, if we want to just complete each bucket and move to the next. I haven't thought that far. That's why this is Random Rankings.
Yeah.
What was your thought when you saw this, Skonzii? Did you like it?
Yeah, no, I think this is super cool. Like, I think I talked about it, was it last week, I believe, that take some time to really think about what you are thankful for. You know, we talk about a lot of horrible things on this podcast, bad stuff happening, and we try to pepper in good stuff too, but it's easy to see the bad stuff. And I keep trying to steer the podcast a little bit more that way. I try to steer my own life that way, that not to see the bad stuff, but to see the good stuff, to force yourself to see the good things. Because I think that's a very, very important thing. So yeah, I think this is fantastic. I love this.
Cool. So let's go top down, because then you can always share the options on screen as we pick them. Would that work?
Yeah, I'm gonna switch this because I had it on the different website. Now let me switch it to this one. Make it a little bit bigger for y'all. That's OBS doing its work right there. That's what you guys are seeing. All right, so hopefully, let me zoom in a little bit, maybe make it a little bit easier to see. All right. So these are the things that are on the list. Maybe I'll be able to see all of them.
Yeah, well, and we can go category to category too, right?
Yeah, so these are things to be thankful for in life. Are these are good things, or what are these? Or these are just general things?
These are the list. So they put 25 in each category.
Okay.
So from this category, we are going to draft 3 each from things to be thankful for in life, and then we'll move to the next category. So
can we pick the same things, or do we have to pick different things?
Let's pick different things, because we want to be thankful for lots of things.
All right. Well, I think we have to go back and forth then. We have to have a randomizer if we can't pick the same things. So
you go first on this one. I'm okay. Again, I want this to be about positivity, thinking about things that we are thankful for. So things that you pick are things I might be thankful for too, but this is also going to force me to pick
some other stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, I hate my family, so I'm kidding. I got to pick family first, right? Family has to be number one. And I'm either whichever of these two, your family or your close friends, I kind of, in my mind, it's the same, right? I'm sure everybody's heard the phrase, it's a family that you choose kind of thing. And I might talk about this in my extra point, even though it's just a personal thought of something that I've been thinking about. I might talk about that in my extra point, or it might be extra time. I'm going to save it for extra time for you patrons, because I've been musing and I haven't done an extra time in a while. So I'm going to save it for that. My thought, just very, very, very quickly, is my close friends are my family. Brian's my family. Like, he's my brother as far as I'm concerned. And there's some others out there too. So in my mind, those are very similar. So, because I consider you my family. So that's what I'm putting in there, is family.
That's fair. And as you can see, I put close friends in there, and I was actually going to go the same route that you did. So for those of you who don't know, and I'm sorry that I'm going to share my personal demographic information as Skonzii cringes over there. November is a difficult month for me, as I had a person in my life pass away in November. But as I've been thinking about, not this note, but anyway, so, I just think about my close family and my close friends and all of those people that came together around me as part of that event. And I've really been thinking about that recently as, Thanksgiving is coming up, because that was really one of those turning points where people who aren't blood family really came together around me. And that's something that I really appreciate. And obviously this year, I'm going to be having Thanksgiving with my wife and her family and the family that I normally spend Thanksgiving with. They've got some stuff going on right now, so I won't be able to spend it with them, but hopefully I'll get to see them soon and we'll be able to celebrate things. But that's why I'm going to go with close friends, because as Skonzii said, friends are family, because your family are the people that choose you.
That's a great point. So for my second thing to be thankful for, I kind of want to choose my pets. I'm thankful that I don't have any, but that's probably not the best way to go.
I mean, that's one way to do it.
What am I thankful for? I'm thankful for my. Can I just choose health? Not good health, just health. No.
You got to choose good health.
I am going to choose technology, which may be a weird one to choose, but
I was going to choose it, so I'm glad that you chose it.
yeah. Well, I think it probably impacts you even more than it does me, but. So my first thing I chose was my family. Well, my family all lives 2+ hours away from me. So, you know, I keep in contact with my family through technology. I keep in contact with a lot of my friends through technology. I work right now remotely due to technology. We all went through this whole pandemic thing over the last year plus, 2 years. Is it 2 years? Jesus Christ. How would we have gotten by if it was the 1980s and the only technology you had was a telephone? Like, we would have lost our damn minds. At least I would have. So technology is super, super helpful in a lot of ways. And yeah, so that's one thing I am definitely very, very thankful for.
Awesome. So where I am going to go with this is I am going to go with a good night's sleep. The reason that I say that is I'm the type of person that, like, I go. I do lots of things. Like, when I am frustrated or stressed or having a challenge in life, one of the things that I often try to prioritize is a good night of sleep, because I feel like if I get a good night of sleep where I'm well rested and I don't feel tired and agitated and groggy, like, my brain resets the next day. Like, whatever happens in that sleep process, I generally can wake up and feel less stressed, less sad, less whatever, where I can, like, get up and just start the day anew. So a good night of sleep is definitely something that I use as a thing to help me be the best version of me.
That's great. I totally would have chosen that, but I have no idea what a good night's sleep is. So I don't think I can choose that in good faith. So the last one, I want to say it's easy, but it's not easy because I really went back and forth on a couple of them. Because I was really thinking weekends, and really when I was thinking weekends, I'm thinking time off, like time away from the grind. Why am I taking a break from streaming for the next week? To get away from stuff and to, you know, kind of refresh. But I could not in good faith choose that because I saw music on the list. I know old man Wiggum's with me on this one. Music is just life. Like, I live for music. I play music all the time. You know, I got a HomePod, Apple HomePod here. In my office is right behind me. And you know, the vast majority of the time during the day, if I'm not on a conference call, which actually happens most of the day, I have music playing, some sort of music playing. When I go out and smoke after work to kind of relax, headphones are on, listening to music. It's just music all the time. And as Beal know, that's how he knows that I'm within 2 blocks of his house when I go to pick him up, because he can hear my music. So yeah, music I am incredibly thankful for.
Awesome. So I am going to go with giving's gifts. Apparently that's supposed to be giving gifts.
Giving's.
So I'll just remove the S. But giving gifts, I really enjoy being able to select things for people that will help them in some way, whether it helps them to feel better, whether it's something that they want, whether it's something that I feel like might assist them in whatever it is that they're trying to do. Like, that's one of my favorite parts of the holidays and birthdays and whatever else, is to be able to give someone a gift that is meaningful. Like, I hate it when I have to give a gift that's like, here's $50 because you just said you wanted a gift card. Like, you know, and unfortunately for us as adults, so much of gift giving becomes that transactional. Here, I'm giving you $50. Okay, now you give me $50.
Yep.
Now we both have, you know, canceled out the monetary amount that we just gave each other, but now we felt like we did something. So I always try to give meaningful gifts when I can, and I really appreciate when I'm able to do that.
So since we're sharing things that we're thankful for, let me just tell you that over the, what was it, a weekend ago, 2 weekends ago, Brian came over, we're watching football, and I was using the time to empty up some boxes, fill up my bookshelf, and I came across a gift that Brian gave me exactly 10 years ago. Okay, not maybe to the day. We used to be season seat holders from the Milwaukee Brewers, and we went to a bunch of games in 2011. And Brian takes a bunch of pictures, I take a bunch of pictures, and he took all of these and he gathered them up and he had a book created, a physical book of the 2011 season. And it is hands down the best gift I've ever received. So thank you for that. And let's move on out of the sensitive crap and let's talk about funny things to be thankful for. B, I'm gonna let you get this one first.
All right, so I am not even going to look at the rest of the list. I am going with that indoor plumbing because as much of a man as you think I might be, I love that indoor plumbing. I need that water coming out of the tap. I need that water coming out of the refrigerator. I need that water in my toilet. I ain't pooping in a hole. I needed to go in the toilet, brother. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to choose toilet paper just to go with the theme. So what am I thankful for on here? You know, I kind of want to choose Wi-Fi because I chose technology and music, and how am I going to listen to my music and my technology if I ain't got Wi-Fi?
I know what you need to choose from this list. Come on now.
Really? Is it that obvious? Because I'm not seeing.
100% obvious.
Really?
Yeah.
Is cigars on here? Cat videos? Is that the one you want?
No, but it's very obvious.
Good hair days? Google? I don't know what the obvious one is. Food delivery service? I am very thankful for food delivery service. I'm gonna choose that one.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, mainly for the groceries, so I don't have to go grocery shopping. Although I did this last weekend, and I actually kind of enjoyed it. Don't tell Wiggum I said that. Yeah, I'm going with food delivery services. I am definitely thankful for that.
All right, so I am not going to steal Wi-Fi from you, but I am going to take inside jokes. And the reason that I say inside jokes is because I feel like those are things that kind of can help to build relationships and sustain relationships and keep things light and funny. Like Skonzii and I have our own inside jokes. Like every once in a while he'll send me something and I'll just type in all caps in like the Vince McMahon voice. And like he knows that it's the Vince McMahon voice at this point, but if I just type that sentence out to like any random person, they'd be like, "What are you doing?" But like I can send it to him and like I don't know if he laughs. I laugh, but
I do laugh.
It's one of those things where it's like he'll send me something very serious, and I'll be like, "Don't you do it, pal."
I also think half this podcast sometimes is inside jokes. I am going to choose Google. And not necessarily just for Google. I mean, Google is fucking amazing. Anybody who, survived before Google when you had to use like Alta Vista or Yahoo, for God's sake, you understand how important Google is. But I'm kind of pulling that to just the grander internet as a whole. It is so powerful, the things that you can learn. And also it's very powerful in the way that it can fuck with a lot of people and make people think that they're geniuses when they're really not. But like you can take college classes online for free from like prestigious universities. It's insane what's out there. So yeah, I'm super, super thankful for that. And of course the internet, if we're going to make this about the internet, it's bringing us all together today. This is my internet hug to everybody. Okay.
Right. Well, and like the funny part about that is, I lost what I was going to say. I was going to say something, but then I lost it. I was basically going to talk about how you talked about Google. Like we met on the internet. So Google has extended its reach. And I always laugh because like I'm having a conversation with somebody and we're like, what do we know about this? How do we do something? It's like, it would be great if we had this thing in our pocket where we could log into the internet and figure this out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's kind of amazing. But the thing that I am going to take for my third item from this list is chapstick. Now, one thing that you may not know about me, my wife knows this about me. Our friend who listens to the podcast probably knows this about me because my wife probably tells her.
Hi, friend.
But I lotion a lot. I use a lot of chapstick. My body is very sensitive. I need to keep things nice and lubricated. There was even a point in the podcast where if you were watching, you saw me apply lotion while Skonzii was talking about Streamlabs for like 3 minutes straight. So, chapstick. Got to keep these lips nice and not chapped.
Did you really just say lubrication? It's a good thing
Yeah.
Joe's not here. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to choose
that's
this.
more of a Z-dubs thing,
I'm going to choose this last one, but I'm going to shake it up a bit and just say family photos, because I hate those photos where everybody's sitting there with that stupid smile. I like to take really stupid pictures, and then I go through my camera roll and I send them to them randomly at different times. It's freaking hilarious. My niece that I spoke of earlier, she's also great at that. All right, let's move on to the next one, because this is taking a lot longer than I expected because we're talking too much. What are these? These are specifically on Thanksgiving. What are the things to be thankful for? B, why the hell is cake on here?
Because cake is delicious.
You don't have cake at Thanksgiving. You have pie. Punch and
You could
pie.
have cake. You could
No,
have cake.
It's pie.
You never
It's
know.
a pie day. All right, B, what you got?
Man, this one's hard. So many of the. I mean, I could take freedom of religion.
I was just
but
looking
I
at
don't
that,
know.
and I was going to make a comment about how Thanksgiving came to be and the way that we treat Native Americans, and then all of a sudden it got very negative and I got angry, so I'm not going to do that.
Right. So I think that I am going to go with fun family traditions. And I've talked about
Okay.
this on the podcast before, but every family does celebrations a little bit differently. So, like, my family did things differently. My wife's family does things differently. The family that I'd been spending Thanksgiving with did things differently. But, like, it was really fun because it's like I'd show up and it's always like, all right, you got to get in line. You got to get some tamales. And if you want beer, the Miller Lite's over there. So it's like, I've never seen that before, but it's amazing.
I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but my favorite part of Thanksgiving is the hot showers. I mean, come on. Why the fuck is hot showers on this list? I'm going with your favorite Thanksgiving side dish. And
shower off all that COVID.
I guess I guess the main reason I choose this is because for me, Thanksgiving, like B said, everybody has their own traditions. Like, we have our traditional dishes that show up, and like, I don't make sweet potatoes all the time. In fact, I make them pretty much once, and that's in Thanksgiving. Like, we have this corn dish that my mom's been making for ages. Maybe we have it for Christmas, but it's pretty much just a Thanksgiving thing. So it's those dishes that you don't make any other time, really, except for Thanksgiving, and I'm super thankful for that. And I'm thankful for you too, Z-Dubs.
Awesome. So I am going to take uncontrollable laughter. The reason that I picked that is because in the vein of these traditions, like, there are things that always happen. Like, previously, before COVID, I would always go like Black Friday shopping with one of my friends, and like, she's one of those people who, like, literally, we went into a store one time. She's like, "Can you grab me a cart?" So like, I go grab a cart, and then she's like, "Find me later," and I'm like, "What?" Like, and we laugh about that to this day. And then, typically when I get together with my wife's family, like, there comes a point where, like, it's my wife, myself, and her dad, and we're sitting around this table and we're all sharing stories, and there comes a point where, like, he's laughing till he's wheezing, and like, it's amazing. And like, meanwhile, her mom's just over in the corner reading a Kindle book because she's like checked out on our conversation 45 minutes ago. But it's just it's such a heartwarming and fun thing. I love it.
Yeah. I'm going to choose a comfy couch or chair. And the reason being is because on Thanksgiving, what do? You eat a bunch of food, you sit down and you watch some football, and you pass out on the couch. And in order to do that, I want a comfy place to sit. All right, B, what you got?
So
Wrap it up.
on Thanksgiving, they're gonna get these hands, because I am working with my hands. So I really enjoy cooking. I like prepping stuff. I like being in the kitchen. I like getting all of this stuff together. So I feel like that whole working with your hands thing, like, that applies to cooking, right?
Yeah, that's fair. I am going to take cake, but really pie. That's what I'm taking for my last one. Same thing, right? Like I have pumpkin pie one time a year. It's Thanksgiving. That's it. And I love pumpkin pie. So, all right, unique things to be thankful for. Literacy. Okay. Are you going first on this one again, B? I'm good with that.
No, because you let me go first 2 times in a row, so you finish this up.
I kind of want to choose literacy just because I'm reading this right now, and that's just really funny for me. I'm going to choose diversity though, because instead of just being funny, I'm going to be serious. And life, just imagine if everybody was exactly the same. How fucking boring would that be? I don't even like myself half the time. How the fuck would I like millions of more of me? Gross. Diversity is great.
All right. So before I go completely selfish, I am going to choose pain and the lessons learned from it. Now, we all go through things in our life, but I always think about those as building blocks and opportunities, because it is impossible for us to become the people that we want to be without putting in the work to get there, right? So I've had a lot of stuff that's gone on in my life, and my life is far from perfect. Trust me, it ain't. But if I hadn't have gone through the things that I've gone through, I definitely don't feel like I would be the person that I am and be in the place that I'm at today. And I had to go through a lot of pain to get there, but I'm appreciative for what's come out of that.
Nice. I'm going to choose random bursts of inspiration. As much as you want your inspiration to be consistent and constant and always there and driving you, I find that's not always the case for me. And I find inspiration in a lot of really weird random things. Like there was one of the things earlier is like Chinese fortune cookie that just hits perfect. And those are the kind of things that I pull a lot of. Like if you looked at my camera roll on my phone, first of all, don't look at the camera roll on my phone, but if you looked at the camera roll on my phone, you would find all sorts of like inspirational, like meme kind of pictures and videos that I saved from TikTok where they're very inspirational and positive and motivational kind of thing. I gain a lot from those. I like to project that more if I could. Like those things really, really impact me a lot. So that's something that I am super, super thankful for.
Awesome. Now, I am going to be completely a selfish a-hole here, but that's okay. Because I like those fresh, warm sheets on your bed. Because when you do that laundry and you get them fresh, warm sheets and you crawl right in there, you just feel so swaddled and so loved.
I've got two that I'm really struggling with choosing between, but I think because this is something to be thankful for, my favorite memories. And I think a lot about a quote that I'd heard around, and I've mentioned this in this podcast probably 7 times, where you think about some of the memories of your past and they seem like they're always there for you, but they're really not. Like there are memories that I don't even remember right now if I even tried, but tomorrow I'll see something and it'll spark it and it'll come back and it's like, oh my God, that was such an amazing, miraculous thing that happened. That day was the greatest day ever, or that's the day when I met this person who changed my life, and whatever the case may be. Our memories in a lot of ways, like our past makes us who we are today, and finding those memories is incredibly, incredibly special. So I'm very, very thankful for that.
Awesome. So I decided between a very sentimental one and a very not sentimental one, and I decided to go not sentimental. Checking something off of your to-do list. But here is why that's important. We as people are often so caught up in we got to do, we got to go, we got to be, we got to get, right? But checking something off of your to-do list is still an accomplishment. You did something. You completed a task, and it's important to be thankful for that, because even if there's 47 other things that you want to do, should be doing, could be doing, you still did something. And that's something to be thankful for.
That is very, very true. Me, 1 second. I thought you were going to talk longer than that. You messed me up, B. I wasn't ready. Well, that's not going to work. So anyway, yeah, I think the long and the short of it is we've all got a lot of things to be thankful for. And I'm thankful for all of you out there as well. I want to make sure that I end it with that because, you know, I would probably still do a lot of this crazy streaming thing. B and I would probably still do the podcast. All this stuff would probably maybe still be happening to some degree, but having all of you out there and your support and hanging out and chatting with us and all of that, I am incredibly grateful and thankful for each and every single one of you and putting up with my garbage and my horrible Apex gameplay, which we'll see pretty soon. I'm thankful for that as well. So I wanted to make sure I threw that in there before I handed things over to Brian for his extra point. B, I can't hear you. This break is being brought to you by Brian's headphones, which are not working right now. He's not sure why they're not working. Did I mute him or something? I don't think I did. Is he muted on Discord? Maybe. Let's take a look and see. I don't think he's muted on Discord. I don't hear you, B. Nah, nothing's coming through. That's interesting. He is not muted on Discord. Whatever it is that he has to say, I'm sure is very, very poignant and important. I'm sure. He's trying to talk. It sounds like he can hear us. Let me see if it's on my side. Nope, that's all coming through. Let me check this. Nope, that's all right. You know what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch to my extra point, which I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about. And then we'll give B a couple minutes. B, if you just want to kind of keep testing stuff and talking, and if something comes through, let me, I know you can hear, but we can't hear you. So that doesn't help a lot. So I'm going to do my extra point while B sees if there's something he can fix. And if not, then I'll wrap us up and we'll end without B doing his extra point. You know, I mentioned earlier that I'm going to take a little bit of a break from streaming for the week, in part because I'm going to be traveling on Thursday. It's Thanksgiving. Everyone's got stuff going on. And because I just felt like I needed a break. And I think it's important that we all recognize when we need a break. And I'm thankful for the opportunity that my job allows me to take a break, to have a couple days off and refresh. And I think it's important that we all do that. You know, the holidays for a lot of people is a great thing. It's a great time. We get to hang out with friends and with family. We get some time off. We eat great food. But it's also, for some people, a difficult time. It's a difficult time to see family. It's a difficult time because you can't see family. Maybe because they're here, maybe because they're not here, maybe because they can't show up, whatever the case may be. You know, work can often be, or school or whatever it is that you're doing can get crazy around this time of year as well. So there's a lot of things that can kind of weigh on us. There's a lot of stressors that happen around the holidays as well. So this is just me wishing all of you the best. Again, thanking all of you for being here and hanging out, listening to the podcast or watching and interacting with it. And this is me just saying, take some time for you. You know, some of those crazy things that showed up on that list, you know, get your hot shower and your nice cup of hot chocolate and get your mutual respect or something. Whatever it is that you need, take some time for you and enjoy some you time. Refresh, relax, and just get happy, because I think that's important. That's what I'm going to work on, and I hope that you do the same. I haven't heard from Brian yet, and I think he's sending me a message right now, which is making me think that he's not getting sound. Discord shows his microphone is working, but it's not coming through here, and I'm not sure why that is. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap us up, because and we'll have to troubleshoot this some other time. Is that it? Say something, B. No, there's no audio. I'll wrap us up, and then we'll have to troubleshoot B's mic, sometime in the next week or something. But thank you everybody for being here. I got to try to do Brian's part of all of our social stuff, and he does it freaking miraculously. I'm thankful that he does this every time, because now I have to figure it out. Up there is up right there is where you can find us. So we're live here on YouTube every Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Time. We also push this out on anchor.fm, where you can find us at anchor.fm/WeRandom, or on any of your podcast apps that you normally use. We'll be on there as well. Just search for We Random. Obviously, YouTube has our recordings, so you can watch us there as well. And then we're on Twitter as well, skonzii, landmark MKE, and then kind of the overall podcast stuff is on AQ_PROD. You can find us on there. We love to interact with people, so please do that. We do have a Patreon or a Discord. Well, we have a Patreon too. You can, if you want to support what we're doing here, you can absolutely do that. And then we've got a Discord as well, where you can submit, different stories if you want stuff for us to talk about, or interact with us on there as well. So lots of ways to contact us. I appreciate you being here. I know B does as well. He would tell you that if the audio is working, but it's not. So I'm just going to say goodnight. B says goodnight. B wave, because people can see you. There we go. We're out of here, everybody. Have a great holiday.